Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Clutch Conversations. It's your boy Mike. We back at you one more again, live on a Thursday night. We got the homie Kyle from Royal Ambassador Reptiles in the building. It's going down in just a few minutes. We're gonna get to the show, but first and foremost, shout out to my lovely wife Takar. Y'all make sure y'all show some love in the chat. We're gonna be working hard this weekend. We're gonna get into that in just a few seconds too, but man, definitely make sure y'all show Takar some love, and don't stop there. Show the channel some love. You know the drill. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and Hulk smash that notification bell so you can get notifications each and every time we drop a video here on the channel. Really, it really helps us out, man, and really appreciate the support. Where can you find us? Hey, we got to update this too, because we just changed the Instagram handle for the @Clutch Conversations. It's now @Herp Collectors Network. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Tag us, do your thing on IG, but you can find us on IG at Herp Collectors and Herp Collectors Network. Also, make sure you follow us on Morph Market and Facebook as well. And of course, you can check out audio only versions of Clutch Conversations on all major podcasting platforms. That's Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and more. Definitely check us out on your favorite podcasting platform. And when you're checking us out there, please be sure to follow, rate, and review. Really helps us out. Really appreciate the support. Speaking of support, make sure you're supporting US Art Florida and US Art. Both of these organizations help protect our rights as reptile keepers. It costs money to do that. So definitely, man, throw any kind of support you can, whether you get a donation, whether you give a donation or you get you a membership or you spread the word, man, but definitely spread the word about both these organizations that help protect our rights as reptile keepers. It's going down in Atlanta this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, Atlanta, Georgia, the Southeast Reptile Expo, hosted by the homie Badu. We will be live from location both Saturday and Sunday. Both shows kick off at noon. Really looking forward to it, man. Begin on the road in the morning, traveling to Atlanta. So for those who gonna be there, man, I hope we get to chop it up. For those who can't be there, make sure you check out the show. We're streaming live at noon on Saturday and noon on Sunday. So both days of the show, make sure you check us out. Following that, the very next weekend, we hit the road again, and we're going to be in Charlotte, September 21st and 22nd. The All-American Reptile and Plant Expo is going down there, too, in the Queen City. Big shout out to the homies Troy and Nick. Really appreciate y'all giving me the invite. Let me come do my thing there. Sponsoring the live tour is the homie Charlie from shedtesting.com. Be sure to utilize promo code HC20 both weekends. That promo code gets you 20% off individual shed tests. That's promo code HC20. Be sure to go to shedtesting.com and use that promo code. It's going to be running live from 10 a.m. Saturday to 10 p.m. Sunday night, both weekends. So that's the weekend of the Southeast Reptile Expo in Atlanta, Georgia, and the weekend of the All-American Reptile and Plant Expo in the Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, 10 a.m. Saturday, 10 p.m. Sunday. A few weeks after that, we're going to be in Animal Con repping the Redline Report, man. This is going to be super dope, man. Ton of animal content creators going to be there. It's going to be a great opportunity. Really looking forward to that. Big shout outs to the homie Robin from Redline Shipping for giving us the invite to host the Redline Report. It's going down this Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're kicking off episode 2 of the Retic Rundown, hosted by the homies Joe and Chris. They're going to be giving you their thoughts on why Retics are the best snakes ever. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you have your reminders set. Special announcement. We got a new show coming out on the Herp Collectors Network. It's the Chondro Corner. It's hosted by Jen Kate from Cigar City Exotics. Her first guest is Bill from Phoenix Reptiles. That show is kicking off October 7th. That's a Monday. It's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Jen and Bill will be chatting about the ins and outs of the Control game. Super excited about kicking this show off and super excited about seeing it grow. And of course, this weekend, we got Double Clutch, episode 6. Should you breed ball pythons? Is it even worth it? Me and the homie Matt, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Saturday. Please be sure to come check us out. And also, if you haven't joined the Double Clutch Patreon, join the Double Clutch Patreon today. Stop what you're doing. Go join the Double Clutch Patreon. Stop playing with us. Join today, man. We're having a lot of fun, man. We just had our first Zoom call this past Tuesday, man. It was super dope. Definitely enjoying that. Really appreciate the support. We also appreciate the support of our sponsors. So we're going to kick these sponsor videos and then we'll be right back. Unlock a wealth of exclusive educational content by joining KINOVA's Patreon, giving you the tools and insights you need to elevate your ball python business to the next level. Leverage the opportunity to participate in monthly Q&A sessions and so much more, learning directly from the world's leading ball python designer. Memberships are currently available up to the student tier, a tier that includes a 10% discount on all animals. Hey, I've been in this Patreon for over 3 years and it's been worth every dime. Don't delay. Join the KINOVA Patreon today. Art comes in many forms. At Armless Angels, it comes to life. In life, success doesn't come to you. You go to it. In this game, forward thinking is the key to innovation and staying relevant. Plan your work and work your plan. Lose yourself in the art. Lose yourself with wetter morphs. Big shout out to the sponsors, man. Appreciate y'all. Y'all make sure y'all give them a follow and checking out everything they got to offer. Hey, we starting off early with a can't talk today with a super chat. Big shout out to the homie Josh from Man Tooth Captive Bred Reptiles. Appreciate the super chat, homie. Looking forward to seeing you in person this weekend, man. It's gonna be super dope in Atlanta. Let's see who else we got in the chat, man. The chat is going crazy. Big shout out to the homie Leland, first to pimp tonight. What's good? Let's go, homie. The homie R.O. What's up, fam? Appreciate you. No Limit Pythons in the building. The Sultan of Support himself, Big Bosa in the building. What's good? We got Dylan in the building. These balls and exotics. Appreciate you coming out, fam. John, what's good, homie? Appreciate you coming out. Dan, what's good? Vision Quest Reptiles in the building. If you didn't check him out on Breeding for the Future this past Sunday, make sure you go check that out. Hosted by the Keys Constrictors. Banner, what's good, sis? Appreciate you coming out. Appreciate you coming out. Tom, Low Life Exotics in the building. Appreciate you coming out. See who else we got. Lucky's Pythons in the building. What's good? Appreciate you coming out. See who else we got. We got Bosa back again. And we got Bosa back again. Banner, what's good, sis? Appreciate you coming out. See who else. If I missed somebody. What's good, Nikki? Irresistible Pythons, Patreon member, Double Clutch Patreon member. Hey, we're going to stop it right there. We're going to end and kick this intro. And then after these messages, we will be right back.
Baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer. Just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the light.
Episode 137, Royal Ambassador Reptiles. What's good, brother?
Man, I was just thinking about that hypo spot nose clown again. Did you get her to go? Did you get her to go this year or no?
So she hadn't gone this year, but she's eating like crazy right
I was
now. I
gonna say,
haven't
I
threw
know
her
she's got to be
down to her.
big.
Yeah, she's eating like crazy right now. Like one of those ones where if you open the tub, you better watch out because she always looking for food, man. And she
Okay.
looked just as good. In fact, I'm lying, bro. She looked better than when I got her. Like she has just aged amazingly.
Man, when they're babies, they look better as adults, I think. That's one combo that I think really looked better as an adult because my male was never that pretty, but then he got big and he looked just like the female you got's even better than him. So
Yeah, man, I'm so happy
Yep.
that I got that snake, bro. I appreciate that.
Yep.
But yeah, she's eating like crazy. So I think she's probably gonna start building soon. I haven't threw the ultrasound to her, but I'm hoping, fingers crossed.
Yep. Yeah, other than that, like I said, I don't know. It's up to you what you want to ask. I see Josh is in there talking about me in the chat. That's the guy. I sold him one of my best animals. It was a hypo stranger clown female, and he got eggs from her this year.
Yeah, he told me about that. He told me about that girl. Yeah, that's a dope pickup too, man. So speaking of the season, breeding, all that good stuff. How's the season going for you right now, man? Give us the rundown. Like how many clutches you thinking? What are some of the things that you're shooting for? All that good stuff.
Oh, sorry. I just keep getting a lot of messages. But anyways, I messed up my rats. I mean, there's a lot of people that already know because I talked to them about it. For 18 months, I had trouble. I ran my rats down and I tried to bring in new stock from someone else. And it was stock that I originally got. So I thought, well, it'll be good. It'll all work out. Well, like 80% of them were killing their babies. Some of them weren't having any babies. Well, I had 7 racks of my original rats. So between those 7 racks and probably 3 or 4 of the rats I brought in, I was able to get babies enough out of those to literally rebuild my whole rat room on those. And I started breeding about 4 months late this year. And with that being said, like all the females that went last year, none of them are going. Now, the year before that, I moved and some of the females didn't go then. Those females are actually going now, and a lot of virgin females are going now. So, and some of them animals literally are cycling at a different time of year than they normally would have. And I think maybe that's one reason with an ultrasound, okay, we get winter here, we get snow, whatever. So there's different barometric pressure changes and all that. So it seemed like to me, like a lot of our, because of where I'm at, the ball pythons will breed from like December until like July. But I think that's because, like, if you have a female with no follicles and you put a male in there, all of a sudden she could start developing as she starts eating and getting, she knows what's happening with her body. So I think now that I've done it like this, I think I can breed these snakes all year and I'm not going to have like a season anymore. The only problem with that is, if you don't have multiple males in a project, what if your best male shuts down on eating? That's one thing I'm kind of weary about doing this all year thing, because if you got 7 females and you're using an ultrasound, you should be able to easily take care of 7. But if they don't all cycle at the same time, if that male's not eating good, you may not be able to breed him to that female.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Like you touched on something super important there in terms of having multiple males in a project. Like I've been burnt on that like a couple times, especially like early on. And so like I kind of shifted and changed my strategy a little bit and tried to at least have a backup male. Like the backup male wasn't necessarily like the male that I wanted most in that project,
But
but
it
it
will
was
work.
like something exactly. And that way I'm
Yep.
just not totally losing a whole year.
I even had females developing that I didn't want to develop, and I'm like, well, I had a certain females I wanted only certain males. Well, it ain't working that way because these females are ready. They're at like 15, 18 millimeters, and I'm like, I got no choice. I better find a male that I can build off of that female. I can build a little bit of a project with that pairing because this male over here is not ready yet. So I got to put a male in there. I'm not going to lose a breeding on that female because I didn't have the exact male that I wanted in the project.
Yeah, absolutely. Like for example, like going back to that spot nose hypo clown girl that we was talking about earlier. I have thrown a male in there. I put a desert ghost, leopard, yellow belly, inchy, double head clown pied male in there, but that's
Yep.
not really the male that I really want her to go with. But the male that I really want her to go with, he's still kind of young. He's got some size on him, but I don't like trying to push him too early. Like I'd rather like take some time, get some more size on him, and let him also get some age. But he is a black pastel, red stripe, yellow belly, clown, het DG, het G stripe. That's who I want to put with her.
Okay. Yep. See, and that's how I kind of was like, man, I had a banana super vanilla enchi, had a xanthic. Now I wanted to breed it to a super vanilla axanthic spot nose, but he just was like 500 grams, not really ready. I didn't want to push him. I mean, I know people that breed 500-gram males, but I just am not that type of person. I don't really want to do that. I mean, if there was a like more money at stake per se, because we're all as an investment, you you try to get some money back, even if you can only get one or two females to go. Trying a smaller male is okay, but if he goes off feed, you got to worry about that too.
Yeah.
So I just put a hypoazanthic yellow belly male with that because I'm like, hey, nobody's doing a hypoazanthic banana anything. So I'm like, hey, let's just run with it, and whatever we get out of the clutch, we get, and I'll keep a few holdbacks out of there. Something a little bit different. And I kind of look at some of my animals like that, and it's just like, hey, if this one doesn't work, hey, let's do this because this is something a little bit different that nobody's working on. So let's just
Mhm.
do that and see what happens.
Gotcha. So how many clutches are you expecting this year? Oh,
I think by the end of this year, like, because my breeding season is all messed up now. So by like through the whole year of 2024, I think I've already had 3, but I'm looking at probably another 27 more. But I also keep finding more and more females developing with the ultrasound. So I'm going to pair them and see what happens. Here's another crazy thing I talk about. And because I use my ultrasound, like, people could say you're probably overusing it, but man, I've taken females. They were at 10 millimeters for like 3 months, and I paired them, and they never, either they wouldn't lock or they did one time and they just wouldn't do anything for like 3 months. Well, I had one female. I paired her. She was at 10 for like 3 months sitting there. All of a sudden, I paired her to a male, and she locked. Well, then she was a smaller girl. She was being picky, not eating, whatever. So I threw mice in there, and I was feeding her as much as she wanted. And I seen her go from like 10 to like 30 in like 20 days.
oh wow.
And I did that. I actually did that with 5 different snakes this season. Like, for some reason, and then what was weird too is that female, I tried pairing her with this other male before. She wouldn't let him breed. She let this other male lock with her one time. And then after she started gorging herself full of food, she let that other male that I really wanted to breed to her in there, and he locked with her now twice. And I think she's about to ovulate with like any day. So this was like from 10 to ovulation in like a 2 months period.
That's nuts. It sounds like the food did the trick, like switching up her food and getting her on those mice and like feeding her kind of heavy. It seems like that did the trick.
I think that I did it with other females with rats also. And it's something with the food intake. As long as they're eating really good and hammering and they're developing, you can get them follicles to jump to the next size. You know, and like I said, I mean, it might be a little bit too, you know, crazy to use an ultrasound like that so much. But I just, you know, I'll ultrasound females sometimes twice in a week just because I want to see.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. I don't say again.
Like
Did
I
you say
said,
something?
it's a little crazy. It's a little crazy to be ultrasounding them like that too much. But you know, I mean, I've literally done it too. Like if I see a female at a certain size and she goes into shed and then she sheds and she goes to the bathroom, I'll check her like a week after that and you can see them jump up even more.
Yeah, I love the ultrasound, man. Like it's helped me so much just to kind of know what's going on, especially early on, right? Before like I started like learning like some of the signs and kind of like just learning your snakes even more. Like it really helped me kind of like I think speed up that learning process. Now I still see like the behavior because they're really talking to you, and so like they're telling you like what they're doing if you're paying attention to them.
Yep.
But having that ultrasound definitely helped me kind of confirm like what I was seeing from the animals with like what I could see with the ultrasound and what's kind of going on like inside them in terms of like the follicle growth and just knowing where they're at. And then it's also kind of helped me like strategically use my males as well, which has been super helpful too.
Mm-hmm. I've been asked by new people, is an ultrasound really worth it? And I tell them I'd never breed snakes without having an ultrasound ever again.
Yeah, I think
Like,
it's worth its weight in gold, man. I love it.
Like, honestly, I would never, ever, I would recommend every person that gets into breeding snakes to get an ultrasound, whether it be any species of snakes. If you can ultrasound them, get an ultrasound because I think it's 100% necessary.
Yeah, I love it, man. I live by it.
No, exactly. And I look at it like this. If it's a, you know, you can get some decent ones for around 1,000, 1,500 off Amazon and stuff.
Oh yeah, the contact
So like
for sure.
one less snake to really be able to read your animals, in my opinion, is well worth its weight in gold to have one less animal and really be able to focus on being able to see your females cycling.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I agree with you, bro. Before the show, you mentioned that you were getting out of DG. So talk about like what led up to that and kind of like what's your strategy? Like you just kind of offloading everything.
Well,
like
to be honest, like I just see so, I seen okay, I think it was about two years ago, everybody was getting into DG clowns. Well, now you see just the influx of DG clowns out here and everything under the sun, any kind of combo. So like I was just like, I have Ultramel, I have Azanthic, I have Pied, I have enough projects. Let's maybe cut out most of the DG. I'm going to keep 1.2, a trio of clown triple head hypoazanthic DG. That way, if I ever want to get back into it, I have those animals. So I could, and if I hit a triple or a quad in that, I can work that with anything I have. But to like really work on that project heavily, it's just not one of my things, and I'm not gonna pursue that any farther to like really work it heavily because I just see so many people have gotten into it, and I have enough other projects that I can really put more time and devotion towards those projects and do better at those than by adding another recessive.
Gotcha. So in terms of the animals in that project that you're gonna be getting rid of here pretty soon, like what you got that you're gonna be getting rid of? It might be somebody in the chat that want to pick up
I
something.
really don't have a lot. I mean, I have like Azanthic double head DG pieds, some Pieds Het Hypo DG. You know, I have a DG clown female that's near breeder size. I have a red stripe yellow belly DG Het clown, possible Het G stripe, and possible Het Hypo.
Female?
I had him listed on Morph Market. I don't know what happened to him. He's gone. So
Oh,
I don't.
that's the male.
Yeah, I had him on there, and like I'm just like I don't know what happened to him. I must have deleted the ad on accident or something like that.
I thought it was a
So
female for a second. I was like, female?
no, if it was, man, like you know that's another thing too. Like to be honest with you, even with the clown triple het hypoaxanthic DGs, the reason I didn't want to get rid of them is because they're 900 grams already, and I'm like, man, I better hold on to those. I did all the work growing them.
Yeah, it's hard to let go of those big ones.
You know, so that's the thing. So like, but anyways, like as far as projects I'm working on, I'm one of the most anticipated things I'm hoping to see this year is I hope to hit the Ultramel Clown Pieds.
Oh, nice, nice.
I have 3 triple hets that I bred to a Ultramel Clown Het Pied. So I'm really hoping it's a 1 in 16 shots to get that. So I'm really hoping I can hit that with no other genes. And you know, I'll say it in here because it is what it is, and people can either listen or not. But like I have a male clown pied, OD leopard clown pied Het Ultramel. Now to breed him to the triple hets, it's a 1 in 64 chances to get the triple, or it's a 1 in 64 chances to get the triple with all the genes in it. So for me, what I decided to do was I decided not to add any codom genes in there to try to hit that triple first. You know, so that I could, you can always add them genes later on. Getting that triple is really, really super hard. You know, last season I had 5 clutches for hypo clown pieds, and I hit 3 out of 5 clutches. But I had 5 clutches the previous year from different pairings, and I hit 1. And then a year before that, I had 2 clutches. So in like 3 or 4 years already, I never bred triple hets on that project. I bred visual double hets to visual double hets. And I've only hit 5 of them out of like 10 or 12 clutches. So to really hit those is just, man, like people, you know, people, I see people out here trying for like 1 in 512, you know, odds. And you got a better chance of buying a lottery ticket and winning $50 off of a scratch off than you do on getting those snakes. You know, man, like like I said, I'm trying to dial it back a little bit because it's so hard.
Yeah, it's hard as hell, man. And I said this before, but man, you really get to respect the odds and how hard it is to hit a lot of these combos. Like after you get gut punched a few times and you just miss, like it's super hard to hit some of that stuff. Like even some things you think is like within grasp, it's still hard a lot of times to hit that stuff.
No, it's very hard. Here's the crazy thing. When I made my first hypo enchi, I made the first pastel enchi hypo clown ever. Well, the funny thing was is I bred enchi hypo het clown to pastel hypo het clown and like hypo het clowns. It took me 50 eggs to hit the first one. From visual het to visual het, 50 eggs. And then it took me, it was 105 eggs to hit 5 more.
That's
so
a
like,
lot.
I mean, it's a lot of eggs and it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I mean, like I said, and the only reason I'm breeding the triple hets this season is because I had a friend that got out, and I've been friends with him for like 15 years. So he offered me the 3 triple hets. This was a few years ago. They were already pretty much adults, but they were picky for me, and I got them now, you know, figured out. So, I bred 3 of them this year. Last year I had 1 goal. I only paired her once, and I didn't think her follicles were growing, so I never paired her again. She slugged out on me. So this year I got all 3 of them going, and it's a 1 in 16 chances. And I mean, the first time I bred, I was like the 3rd or 4th person to make lavender pies in the world. 3rd or 4th person. I bred double het to double het, which is a 1 in 16. I got 1.2 in my first clutch.
Oh,
And
nice.
that's never happened to me again. Just to, it's never happened to me again. And I did pair a double visual to that same double het mother, and I got 6 out of 9 eggs. I actually got 10 babies because there was a set of dreamsicle males in the egg too. So, I mean, sometimes you can crush it.
Yeah.
But
and sometimes it can crush you.
More times than none, like I always say to people, wish in one hand and shit in the other and see what comes first. Because it's something my grandfather used to tell me. So, and I know from experience now what I'm getting, I know what's coming first. And it's funny because like that's one thing with the newer breeders and the more people that are getting into this, they're going to start seeing, this is it's not so easy.
Yeah, it's definitely not at all. It's a numbers game, man. So you got to have like multiple shots at some of this stuff. Otherwise, like you might just lose to the numbers. I mean, you can look up. Like I had like a super lucky clutch last year where I hit like some really nice stuff. One gene was not even expected in the clutch, but
nice.
A lot of other clutches I missed out on stuff. Like got kind of like the least wanted morphs out of it, if that makes sense. So you got all the way out of the Ultra Kiki project, didn't you?
Yes, I mean I could still do. I have another. I don't have anything in that project anymore, but I have some other things that in the future I'm possibly thinking about doing something different. I'm not going to tell anybody what it is, but it's like it's a 5 gene or a 4 gene recessive, and it's going to involve the Ultramel G-stripe clown, but it's going to have some more stuff in there.
Okay.
I don't have anything from that project right now, but there's animals I could build from with other animals that I have.
Gotcha. So what led to you getting out of that project, like the triple?
I have hypo G-stripe clowns stuff, and I'm just like, that was another one. It's like, hey, I got like 3 animals in this project. Is it something I want to pursue? Because like you said, to get the odds, you bet, man, you got to have like 3 or 4 girls, really. Like, and then if you try to make more with more codon genes in once you hit a triple, like you better have 4 or 5, because it just, man, it like you said, it humbles you really quick. I mean, there's been times where it's just like, man, can I just not get a break? Like, man, over and over missing. I had 75 eggs for pastel lesser hypo clowns. I had like 75 eggs and I never hit one. And I'm like, I'm so sick of this. I went out and bought one because I'm just like, I'm tired of this. And the crazy part is though, is with the triples now, that's a whole different ball game. And to buy triples, I mean, the lowest price triples I've seen is like right around $4,000, and to me, like $4,000 is not, it's not really a lot of money in the grand scheme of things, but it is a lot of money to say somebody 2 or 3 kids and they're people just can afford other things. And
you're breaking up, like your Wi-Fi is going out. Earlier your video
ball pythons as hobbyists, as some people that do have an LLC, most of them don't really have $4,000 or $5,000 to just drop overnight like that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So you guys here?
Yeah, I'm here. Your internet is like choppy, and before it was just your video, but now it seems like it's affecting your audio too. Can you still hear me in real time?
I'm good now. Perfect.
Okay, so you heard that?
Are you here now?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yep.
just your
Yep. I
video it
heard.
looks like now.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I have a metal roof, and every podcast that I go on, I'm always having trouble. When I'm in the snake room, I'm trying to show snakes. Then I got to set my phone a certain way at an angle to be able to show people things. And it doesn't matter. Even if you have Wi-Fi extenders in this building, my cousin had like 15 of them when she lived here, and the internet is horrible because of the metal roof.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, question for you. So you've been doing this for like a minute now. I'm not exactly sure how many years, but I know it's been a minute. So, in terms of like a long-term strategy, like what would you say are some key moves that breeders should make, let's say in their first 5 years, to really like position themselves for long-term success?
First one you need to figure out is what projects you want to work on. And after that, buy females. If you want to work on double or triple recessives, you better have a female before you even buy any kind of a male and try to make your own hets. Because having that female, here's what I figured out over time. If you have a female, like say a lavender clown, you raise her up. You might not make the combos first, but here's the thing. You can put her in the rack and you can breed a crazy male to her, make some combo hets, like visual hets, like a lavender clown, like I said. So if you bred like a, Pompeii combo male or something like that to a lavender clown, if you hit a crazy male, if you get one or two, you could literally go right back to that mom or another one if you bought another one right away within a 2-year period by breeding a visual het to double visual, not double hets, because you're already with doing just that, you've already strengthened your odds and your time. Because with having those better odds and time, you're going to have a better chance, and be able to be at the upper end of producing some of those combos. So if I had any advice for anybody, it would be to buy the females first. And if you do plan on doing double or triple recessives, buy, like, if it's a triple, if you can afford like a double visual het or visual double hets, get like two. Or if you can only afford one, don't go buy 3 triple hets, because those 3 triple hets are still not going to get you them odds that one is going to get you.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so to buy those females is super important for me. For someone like me, it's, I have all the females already, so I can do all of this. And it just so happened, people ask me every week, I get a message. Well, how did you know that the triple recessives were going to be like at the future of this, of all ball python breeding, the triples and the quads and all these things? The truth of the matter is I didn't know. The truth is I never had $25,000 when the bananas were available, when the lessers were available, all that kind of stuff. I didn't have that kind of money to spend. So I was working with albinos and pieds. And that's just, now it's come full circle to where now I have all these things, and it just so happened to turn out that way.
Gotcha. Early on in the process, was there somebody like kind of like helping you, like in terms of being like a mentor, kind of like pointing you in the right direction?
Nobody ever really told me about the recessives or any of that kind of thing like that. I just kind of did that on my own. But I did have people like Ralph Davis. He used to have a forum. And like Sean Bradley was on there from Exotics by Nature. He still has some colubrids and stuff. He's not a ball python person anymore, but he does have colubrids. So Sean, and then he had a girlfriend at the time, Celia. They kind of helped me with like my heating and stuff like that, getting my room set up properly. And then like Ralph Davis had he had a breeding recipe on his website that he kind of talked about. and I just kind of followed that at the
A breeding
beginning.
recipe.
Yeah, like how to, you know, dropping your temperatures or keeping certain temperatures. I don't drop temperatures anymore. I keep my room at 75 all year. I might mess with the heat tape a little bit, but other than that, I don't mess with the ambient temperatures at all.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And another thing I don't have a lot of is belly heat. I don't do a lot of belly heat.
Like, what do you keep your temps at?
I
Belly
keep
heat wise.
my heat tape. I have it set at about 94 on the thermostat, but it's only like 80, 87, like 85 to 87.
Yeah,
But
that's where I'm.
I also have two rooms. I have a baby room and I have an adult room, because my adults I keep, like I said, 75. Heat tape is 86, 85 to 88, somewhere around there. But my babies I keep at 90, 83 in the room. The ambient is 83, and then the heat tape is set at like almost 90, because with, see, what another thing too is if I have males that go off feed breeding, what I might do is I have V18 racks for my baby racks, and you can fit a V35 short in that same space of 2 wide. Excuse me. So what I do is I'll put a V35 in there, and I'll take a male out of the adult room where there's no females in there that are adults giving off those pheromones and everything. And I'll put that male, I'll give him a bath, I'll set him up in there and get him eating, and then I'll put him back in the other room. And usually they'll keep eating then.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do too. Like, sounds like our setup is kind of similar. Because I keep my adults in that same temperature range. It does take longer for like them to lay, like once they have their pre-lay shed.
Yep.
Averaging at about like 43, 44, something like that days like after pre-lay shed. But I'm fine with that because even though it's taking them longer to lay, like I've been having much more success, like in terms of like slugs and not having any slugs. I haven't had, I mean, knock on wood, I haven't had any slugs this year at all. And so I've been liking that. Like, even though it takes a little bit longer, I'd rather it take a little bit longer versus having slugs. And I do the same thing with my males too. If they go off food, I'll move them into the room with all the hatchlings and stuff where they're not around like the females and stuff like that. And I wash them off too. And usually they get back on food like pretty quickly after that. And then like once I get them going good again, then I'll bring them back and like start pairing them again. But I keep my babies a little warmer too than I keep the adults.
Yep. Hey, Edge of Panic, just so you know, I seen in the comments you said I got out of disco, but that's what you think. That's what you think. I still got some discos over here. I got some super combos. So, you know, if you want to think I got out of disco, you can think that.
Why does he think you got out of disco?
I did sell the majority. I probably got like 4 animals now. I had a lot of trouble. I made the first disco spot nose clowns, and I had a lot of trouble identifying them. And I sold him one. And what happened was, originally I thought the disco and the vanilla made like something like, the problem was I listened to somebody else. I didn't do the work myself. And I got out of most of it because I thought it didn't make something, but it actually does make something. But I just never pursued it really hard after that. I got rid of most of it. And the crazy thing is one of the things that, here's another humble story. I bred a disco het ultramel to disco het ultramels. And I also bred a fire spot nose yellow belly het ultramel to disco het ultramels. I had like 8 clutches. Out of those 8 clutches, I hit disco fires. I hit until last year, I only hit 1 ultramel out of those pairings because there was a bunch of code. So, yeah, I hit super discos, disco fires, spot noses, like everything.
And did you say you had visual on one side?
No, it was no, just
Head to head.
hets.
Okay, head to head.
So it's like a 1 in 16 chances. And I did like 6 or 8 clutches of this, and I'm like, man, I'm getting tired of this. So what I did was I bred disco het to disco het last year, and I did hit 2 disco ultramels. I sold one and I kept one female just in case. That's another thing I'm trying to do too is, hey, if I'm working a project, let's say it's not one of my main priorities, but let's have a female just sitting on the shelf. If I need that gene, or if I see something cool that I want to make, but I want to make it better, I've already got something that I can plug into it. Something sitting there. I mean, I have some females I've had 5 years before I even bred them, because I just didn't have a plan for them. But I thought, hey, let's pick one of those up just to have it.
Yeah, that's a good plan for a female. Like, I got a couple females like that, where I'm not going to work the gene too heavy, but I do like it, but I don't necessarily know exactly what direction I'm going to go with it. So they're just kind of like growing up in the rack right now.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to take a real quick sponsor break, and then we'll be right back.
Known for his innovative approach to genetic shed testing and top-quality ball pythons, Grey Rider Reptiles also excels in exceptional customer service and responsiveness. With a quick turnaround time, Charlie ensures you get the service you want and need. Visit shedtesting.com to explore his offerings and experience the best in the business. Don't miss out. Head to shedtesting.com today and unlock the power of your breeding projects.
Peace and love, family. We invite you into the heart of our serenity, Ancestral Royal Pythons. At Ancestral Royal Pythons, we're not just breeders, we're nurturers of love and growth. Each of our high-end ball pythons is a tribute to the grandeur of the natural world and our dedication to quality. Reach out today and bring one of our creations into your home. This is Ancestral Royal Pythons. Your journey begins here.
Here's to the exciting world of Ebony and Ivory reptiles. From unforgettable parties and events to keeping and hatching some of the dopest reptiles in the reptile hobby, we're all about education, quality, integrity, and respect. Hit us up and see how we can help make your next project a reality. Experience Ebony and Ivory Reptiles, where fascination meets fun.
Ebony and Ivory Reptiles.
Big shout outs to the sponsors. Cal, you there?
I'm here now. I had to go back in the house. Like I said, my internet here is so bad. It was working perfect, and then like all of a sudden not working at all. And then I'm getting messages from people that says, "Oh, your internet connection sure sucks." You know, and I mean, like, there's nothing I can really do. Like I said, my cousin, I did have I don't know if you ever heard of like Arrow System. You can get it at Best Buy. It like has these like Wi-Fi extenders all over. I had one of those, and you can hook up like 200 devices. The problem was when I hooked it all up, and then I tried hooking up my printer, I couldn't get any of my labels. So,
oh wow.
So I'm like, well, it's either one or the other. Like, either I can get labels or I can get better internet. So I shut the internet down, and I'm like, man, I gotta get the labels or there ain't no snakes being sold, you know. So I should probably call the Geek Squad out here to like figure it out. But man, this is gonna be, you know, it's gonna be a crazy thing to try to hook all this stuff up because of the issues. I mean, I was telling my neighbor, because he has the same problems. We've tried 3 different cell phone services in this area, and literally it's all the same. Nothing, like Wi-Fi is messed up, cell phone reception is messed up. It doesn't matter what you do. It's just the area where we're living, I think.
Are you guys like near the city, or are you kind of like more in the...
We're in like a rural, like a village. The thing is, we literally have a cell phone tower like a mile up the road, but we have huge trees around the property here, which is basically sheltering everything. You know,
You see Will's comment?
no, I had better internet than Kyle when I lived in the with the Amish. Yeah, exactly. They got no internet. No, so like I said, I mean I just try to like deal with it. I mean as best as I can. But yeah, as far as like, you know, going back to projects, you know, I was telling you earlier, I think I have chances at 5 different triple recessives this year, which I can name them just
Yeah,
because.
what are those 5? I'm interested to know.
True Ghost Clown,
Okay.
True Ghost Pied,
Okay.
Hypo Clown Pied, Lavender Clown Pied, and Ultramel Clown Pied.
Nice. How many shots you got at like each of those? You got multiple shots at them, or?
I don't have the clutches right now, but I have ovulations, and I mean I think I'm gonna have 4 clutches for the True Ghost Clown. 2 of them are from triple hets, 2 of them are from clown double hets. The True Ghost Pieds, well, you know, that's another story because, you know, going back to putting too many genes in there before you get the triple, I did do that with certain projects, and now I got 3 or 4 codom genes in the mix. So hitting them triples are going to be hard, you know. So the True Ghost Pied, I should have like 2 clutches. The Lavender Clown Pied, I got 1 clutch. And then the Ultramel Clown Pied, I have 3 clutches. The Ultramel Clown Pied and the True Ghost Clown are the only ones where there's triple hets involved. Otherwise, it's visual. It's double visual hets to visual double hets at minimum.
Gotcha.
Because like I was saying, it just I've been doing this for a long time, and I've shit in one hand and wish in the other, and you know that's what you're, you know, I mean that's real. It's real.
I would start using that now.
You know, so but yeah, other than that, like you know, like I said, I do have a baby room. I have an adult room. I do have a few other species. I have a few Gilas. And then I have some bull snakes, and then I have some boa constrictors. You know, them are kind of just to play around with, something a little different. The boas are, I mean, I literally got bit by one like a month and a half ago. It grabbed a hold of my hand. I kind of got them hook trained where if you tap them with a hook, they know they're not getting fed. But if you literally go in there and grab them with your hand, they're going to bite you.
Yeah, a bull bite is way different than a ball python.
Oh man, I was bleeding everywhere. Like I got a 5 foot the 5 foot female. She what happened was I cleaned her cage and I put her in another tub, and then I cleaned her cage, put the tub back in the rack. I grabbed her to put her back in with my hand. I should have never grabbed her. I should have took the hook, got a hold of her that way, grabbed her tail or whatever, and then put her back, and she would have been fine. But if they don't know, and then they, especially if they feel the warm thing grabbing them, they just swing back around to try to bite.
Yeah, and they can bite from different angles than ball pythons too. Like I learned that early on.
Yeah, they go crazy.
Like I remember one of my girls, and she wasn't even that big at the time. I mean, she was I don't know, maybe like 2.5, 3 feet, something like that. So not like huge at the time. But I went in there one day just to like check on it. I was going to pick her up, and I just stuck my hand in there. Usually I like to tap, but that time I didn't. I just stuck my hand in there, touched her. She swung back around, bit the shit out of me. My hand was leaking, like you can see like the blood like dripping all on the floor and stuff like that. Like, it didn't hurt crazy, but it was definitely a lot more smarts than a ball python bite for sure. And I was leaking.
And that's how mine was. And I literally, like, she bit me, but then she let go. You know, she knew when she bit me, she knew. She didn't wrap me or anything like that. she knew right away and she let go. And I had a friend, the neighbor up the road has some snakes too, small time breeder, like 50 snakes or something, just a hobby guy. And he comes and helps me clean sometimes for rats. And he was in there and he starts laughing. I'm like, dude, this crap ain't funny, man. I'm leaking everywhere. I'm walking around in the room bleeding all over the place. And I'm like, but to be honest, like anybody that's listening, if you haven't been bit, you better be ready because it's coming sooner or later.
Oh yeah, facts.
And that's one reason I don't have venomous. And with the Gilas, I only grab them with welding mitts. I don't take a chance of free-handing them. I did get bit one time on the finger with one with welding mitts on, and it literally didn't let go for like 45 minutes.
Dang, that's
so it's
nuts.
literally just chewing and chewing and chewing. Imagine if that's your finger and it's like you would have had to pry it off of you in order to get it off, and then you would have had venom in you. And I mean, as far as I've done a lot of research. Nobody's ever died from a Gila bite, but they've had paralysis in their limbs for up to 6 months.
That sucks too. That would be terrible.
And my buddy got bit by one. The guy that I got him from, he got bit by baby ones already, and he said his whole hand swelled up like a balloon. And he did go to the doctor. They didn't cut it open or anything, but they just waited for it to come back down. And it took him, it was 8 months, he said, of just nursing it along.
Yeah, like me personally, I wouldn't keep venomous snakes just because like I know me, I know my expertise level, and to me it's just like not worth the risk. I definitely don't want to get bit. If I did keep venomous, I definitely wouldn't free handle for sure, but I'm not even interested in keeping venomous at all.
No, and I mean there's some beautiful ones. Like some of the rattlesnake morphs out there are super pretty, but at the same time, I do have a friend that designed cages to their venom. I can't remember the venom something cages. They have like a hide box in them, and you basically coax the animal in the hide box, and then there's a trap door so you can clean the whole cage with the snake inside that box, and then you open the box and let it back in there, and then you close the box in order to clean that box part out.
Okay, yeah, that's
so like it's a good idea.
Yeah, damn good.
And like I said, with the Gilas are nothing compared to like a cobra. I mean, them things, it's boom like that, just like a boa. I mean, they can have you in seconds, and like you could even be far enough away and they're still possibly going to get a hold of you. A lizard isn't going to jump at you, where a snake is going to literally, they got that big strike range.
Yeah.
So I'm the same way. Like I've been tempted, but I'm not playing.
My limits.
I'm not gonna play with the devil. I mean, no
I
way.
know my limits. I'm good.
No, and that's exactly how I am too. So I just decided, no, it's just not gonna be for me. If I want to see venomous, there's a guy that lives a half hour away that has a bunch. I'll just go over there for the day, maybe take a look and enjoy them, and then come back home.
Live vicariously through your homie.
Oh, hey, Leland, what's up? You told me to give you a shout out, so I guess I got to give you that shout out now.
Yeah, big shout out to the homie Leland.
With the thumbs up button.
So talk about like some challenges and stuff. Like I know we all have our challenges, whether it's like personal, whether it's reptile specific, but talk through some challenges you've had like throughout your breeding career and kind of how you've overcome those, and then also what made you what led to you like just really continuing to push forward, because you see people like getting out all the time, like this, that, and the third, and obviously they have their own reasons, so definitely no judgment there, but speak to like your personal experience, your journey.
Well, one thing I've had a lot of trouble with, and I've tried them all, is the different types of bedding. I use a closed air rack, which is like a animal plastics, so it's a little harder to control, like the humidity. With cocoa, you can't have it too wet. You don't want it super dry, and I mean, I've tried everything. The only thing I've recently I've even tried pine. Yeah, everybody pine, because I heard it from multiple people. You know, there's one guy that I know that has had pine, his animals on pine for 14 years and never had issues. I've dumped water on it. I've done all kinds of different types of things. The only thing that I can't get to not mold, cocoa doesn't necessarily mold. It's when the snake craps on it and then the shit starts to mold. So, you know, cypress, you can never get cypress. It's always so wet, because if you get it at like Lowe's or Home Depot or any of those places, they keep it outside and they do have it plastic wrapped, but it still gets all wet. So when you get it, you know, when I did cocoa, I kept it in like big trash cans for like a week and stirred it up to try to get it to dry out. You know, and one big thing about cocoa is the time prep. Like, there's so much time prep there, and for closed air racks, it's hard to regulate the humidity, especially when you have see, my room has mini splits. So each room has its own heating thing. The problem is when you're inside, when your room is only 75, and then you got your heat tape set at like 86 to 88, there's a humidity barrier in there, and it creates humidity because you got closed air racks and not a lot of airflow. So what I've drilled holes in tubs. You know, that's one thing I'm using the kiln dried pine. I've used cypress, I use aspen, I've used everything. Cage liners, newspaper. This pine has been working out really well for me, so I just am staying with it. You know, like I said, I know people that used it for 14 years. Old school guy. The cost is low. That's one of the things I've struggled with throughout the whole thing. And then another thing is just like you said, you see a lot of people getting out, and I was never one of these I'm not claiming to be a city person. I never been a city person. I grew up on farms when I was a kid. I was in swamps when I'm not gonna make a about us on my website saying, oh yeah, I used to play with snakes when I was a kid, blah, blah, blah. Come to find out, if you really look into the person's background, they've lived in the city their whole lives. They're on bullshit. They're lying. I'm not going to lie to anybody. I was that kid. I used to go to my neighbor's house. They had a like a 10-foot by 30-foot pond, 6 feet deep, algae, turtles were in there, frogs. I mean, I was in there up to my neck, sometimes catching stuff. And my parents would be screaming from next door. The old man used to come out and say, hey, your mom and dad's yelling at you. You better get home. And that's really like, I've always been into catching stuff and keeping stuff. And my dad used to be like a semi-pro bass fisherman.
Okay.
So we used to go fishing a lot. Well, there used to be these baits. They were shaped like a frog, but they had these tails where the legs were, and they fluttered in the water. I didn't use them to catch fish. I used them to bait turtles in, and I was pulling turtles out of the water. When they were on logs, my dad could be fishing all day, and I'd be casting towards them turtles, and I'd be wanting to get them turtles. I'd never let them bite it because it would hook them, but I would get them so close to the boat, I would either net them or I'd grab them by hand right out of the water. But that's one thing I've always. I'll be right back. I got another story to tell, and it's a bad one, but it's not bad at the same time. I'll just explain. I'll be back in a second.
Let's hear it. Y'all make sure y'all check us out this Saturday. Going live noon both days, Saturday and Sunday, day 1 and day 2 of the Southeast Reptile Expo, and be sure to use promo code HC20 at www.shedtesting.com with the homie Charlie from shedtesting.com, also known as Gray Rider Reptiles. That Promo code will get you 20% off your order of individual shed tests. You can order as many as you want and get 20% off the whole order, but it's only good for one order. Also, be sure to use promo code Robin60 to get 60% off your first 2 shipments with Redline Shipping, because as always, you know it, better off red.
Okay, when you're back, let me know.
Yeah, we back.
Okay, so I gotta change my camera around here. I think I can do it this way. So okay, so this book right here is what kind of started everything. Now this book, I mean, you can see this is old. I mean, it's super old. This book I actually stole when I was how does that? When I was 11, like 10 or 11 years old, I had this book in grade school. Well, they were having like a book sale where they were getting rid of all the old books. And well, this book wasn't one of them, but I wanted it so bad that I had to have it. So I ripped. They didn't have computer catalog books. They didn't have computer catalog books at the time with like checkouts so that they could scan everything in and out. They just had a library card and they would stamp it with like a date when you were supposed to return it by. Well, I don't know if they ever had a log of it or anything like that, but I ripped that card off of the back and that thing ended up in my backpack when I was probably 10 or 11. And this book right here is the book that taught me how to hatch out turtle eggs, how to breed turtles. When I was 14 years old, I caught some wild painted turtles and I kept them for like 2 or 3 years. And I kept them in the basement. And I put them through brumation down in the basement where there was a part of the basement where it wasn't really heated. And it was cool enough where I just put them in a box of like a wooden box with leaves in and everything. And I brought them out. And at 14 years old was the first time I have ever bred any kind of animals. I actually bred Western painted turtles at 14 years old. And the funny thing about it is I've never bred them since. I never bred them since.
And you still got the book to this day.
Oh yeah, because I robbed it, you know, and that's where when I was like 11 or 10 when I first took the book, it taught me how to hatch out the eggs first before breeding them or anything. I grabbed I raided like 2 or 3 nests of snapping turtle eggs, and we had like a overhang on part of our house that we lived in, and my dad cut a hole in the wall, and it was like an attic area that he just used for storage. Well, in the summertime, man, it was perfect up there for hatching turtle eggs. So what I did was I took plastic deli cups and I lined the inside with paper towels and I got them wet and then I wringed all the water out. I put the eggs in there. I put a dot on each egg and I put them in that container. And at 12 years old, I was hatching out painted turtles and snapping turtles.
Nice,
you know?
nice.
I mean, my parents, they weren't like, you know, I had guinea pigs. I had iguanas. I brought grass garter snakes in the house. You know, I had all kinds of stuff going on, and you know, I never got rid of reptiles my whole life. I did breed and like show rabbits for probably 7 or 8 years, but I developed an allergy to the rabbits, so I got rid of them. And I am allergic to all my to the rodents also. So I wear a dust mask all the time. I wear long sleeves. When I'm in there, I try to wear long sleeves, or at least I wear rubber gloves every time. Every time I'm in there, I wear rubber gloves because even if I have cuts on my hands or on my arms at all and I rub it, even if I grab a rat and it scratches me with its nails, I get hives from it.
Oh, damn.
So that's been one big challenge. I have thought about with the ball pythons, not now anymore, but when I first started, I was trying to feed frozen thawed. I couldn't get the snakes to eat frozen thawed. I was constantly having trouble. I'm like, no, they got to go on live. So I've always fed live ever since. But with the boas, you don't need to really feed live at all. So there was a point in time where I had like 20 or 30 ball pythons, and I'm like, man, should I sell these and get boa constrictors? Should I sell them and get boas? And I was fighting it, and I never did sell them, but I got boas anyways, and and I mean, I did have some boas years ago. I've had blood pythons. That's another story in itself. I got a really expensive pair of blood pythons from a friend of mine that was getting out of the hobby. Actually, the sapphire morph. He was the originator of the sapphire morph. It was Mike Jones out of Kentucky.
Who?
Mike Jones. he was in Kentucky, and he was the original guy for the sapphire morph. And I didn't get none of it. I'm like, now I wish I would have got some of it, but I had the opportunity to buy the whole project, and I just nope. But he had a really expensive pair of blood pythons, and I bought those, and I had them, and I was just about to breed them. And I fed them live. Well, what happened, I lost both of the animals to rats because for some reason I got really sick, and I ended up in the emergency room for like 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Well, my parents were in Mexico at the time, and my grandparents had to drive me to the emergency room because I couldn't even drive. I was puking, and it was coming out of both ends nonstop for like 10 hours. And they got me on the examining table, and they asked me a bunch of questions, and I fainted. And they ended up hooking me up to like magnesium, a bunch of different things, and I couldn't eat solid food for like 3 days. And I was in the hospital. And when I got out of the hospital, the snakes one of them was dead, and the other one was all chewed up. And
wow.
Ended up having to put it down. And I should have never fed them live, but accidents can happen like that. Like I said, I didn't plan on going to the emergency room. I didn't plan on getting so sick that they told me at the emergency room if I would have waited 12 more hours that I would have probably died. That my organs would have started shutting down, actually.
Dang.
So I don't, and they gave me IVs and like different stuff, and I ended up coming out of it okay. But I don't know if it was food poisoning or what it was. They said they're not really sure. Well, when I was up in there too, I was in the cancer part. So my cousin called me. She's a nurse. She's like, why are you in the cancer part? They didn't tell me nothing yet. So I'm freaking out thinking I had cancer, So it was a really scary time. But, I've had that happen. I had about 5 years ago, I had different herp stats. Well, I took one probe from one type of herp stat, plugged it into another one. It was giving me an alarm, and I'm like, well, that's nothing. It's going to dial in, whatever. Well, I ended up falling asleep, and I cooked like 7 snakes worth over $50,000.
Ooh.
I had leopard clown pieds head hypo. This was 5 or 6 years ago. Leopard clown pieds head hypo. Ultramel leopard lesser leopard yellow belly double het ultramel clowns. Red stripe het hypos. All adult stuff in this rack, and I cooked like 7 of them.
Dang.
And it was like about a $50,000 worth of value of animals, and
what was going through your head at the time, like when that happened?
Man, I'm just like, I was just like, man, this sucks. But at the same time, like, hey, I still got all these other animals. So let's keep pushing forward. You can't do nothing about it. You gotta just, you can't let it beat you. You can't let it, stuff like that could sense, certain people mentality isn't built for that kind of thing. And they could end up they could be put into depression because of something like that. I've always just been like thankfully I had the rest of the stuff because I could still keep working. If it would have killed everything, that's one thing, like I see like, Pro Exotics had that big fire that time where it burned pretty much everything was gone. And certain other people have had instances where stuff like that's happened. And I'm stubborn too, where I've had females not breed till they're 6 or 7 years old, picky eaters, and I'm like, these these bastards, they ain't beating me. They ain't beating me. I'm getting eggs out of these things. I don't care. They ain't beating me. I got them. So like, just never give up. Never give up. You know, with the rabbits, you know, I had to kind of give that up, and I have help with the rodents. Even with the snakes, I have to clean them with a mask because the rat, like the snake shit, still has rat dander in it. So I'm
Yeah.
allergic. I still get allergic reaction to the snake crap. If I literally took a snake turd dry and rubbed it on my arm with the rat hair in it, I would get hives from it.
That's wild.
You know, even though it's went through the digestive process and everything like that, it still is affecting me. So like, you know, that's the thing. And with the reptiles, man, I'll be having reptiles. Even if I don't have ball pythons, I'll be having reptiles until I'm dead. I'll have something. I'm never gonna, like, turtles. I got an aquarium over here right now. I'll show you. These are all like captive hatched stuff that's from the wild. There's a soft shell right there sunning itself. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. And then there's some
painted in the left over there.
Yep, painted turtles in there too. I mean, they're all right. I mean, you know, they're not tame or anything like that. But yeah. So like, as far as that goes, like I said, I'll have reptiles until I'm old, until I can't. If I had to get rid of all the snakes, I would not get rid of all of them. I would definitely be keeping the one. The one I would keep out of my whole collection would be the hypo clown pied female that I made. It took me from scratch. You know, I bought a hypo clown or a clown het hypo male. I bred it to hypo females. I raised up the hypo het clown females. Then I made the Enchi hypo clown male. I bought a clown pied female from a friend of mine. I bred that to make the clown double hets. And then I also bred that male to a hypo pied to make hypo double hets. And then I raised all that stuff up. And it took me 14 years of all that.
Wow.
From all of that, it took me 14 years in order to hit my first one, because it was a process of making the double visual Enchi pastel hypo clown pied, the clown pied female, raising up those females. You know, it took me 14 years to hit that first female that I made. And the following year, I did make a male, but it was a pastel hypo clown pied, and I raised him up to breeder size, and I got him out the door, because the pastel with the clown pied and the hypo together, it's just not something I want to work towards. I do have females with pastel in there, but it's really not something that I want to really work on so much with pastel in the hypo, because pastel hypo clowns are nice. Pastel hypo clown pieds are not, because you lose the pattern. You just get yellow blotched animals. So it's not something I want to work with as far as really putting a lot of emphasis in that. Pastel with DG and pastel axanthic DG. Pastel axanthic DG is probably better than the axanthic DG in my opinion. It's like a black and white snake. And the male that I originally had, he never really turned yellow. So just to have that black and white, I think that's, you know, that's one project we're going to see a lot from, I think, in the future, is just the axanthic DG stuff. Even without the clown, I think we're going to see a lot of really cool things coming with that. I think we're going to see a lot of really cool projects just with hypo too, with no axanthic, no pied, no clown, just some hypo things with the different codom genes in them.
Yeah, hypo is so nice. Like a lot of people like catching up now, like as far as like getting on the hypo train or whatever you want to call it. But like it's a ton to do with hypo, and there ain't many things that I've seen. I can't even think of nothing right off the top of my head that I've seen with hypo that doesn't look better. Like I love hypo. I love working it. I'm looking forward to like the stuff that I'll be doing with hypo.
A lot of people don't like hypo DG, but you know, there is people that do love it. You know,
yeah, I like that too.
you know, that's one thing about the different projects is, you know what? There's enough out here for everybody to work with, that if you don't like, okay, I like some blade clowns. Like there is some blade clown stuff out there that is awesome. Awesome. But for other things, I don't like blade. You know, there's certain things I like it with, there's certain things I don't, you know, and that's with everybody. You know, some people don't like hypo DG, some people do. You know, there's enough projects out here. That's the great thing about ball pythons, and the thing about breeding them is there is so many different things out here that there's something out there for everyone.
100%.
And I think that's one thing why the ball pythons is such a big thing out of the whole reptile industry, is because there's something out there for everybody.
There's so much diversity in terms of like the morphs, whether you like things that change color, things that change pattern, like all that good kind of stuff. And then it's so many things you can do. It's like the possibilities essentially are endless, and so it's so much that can be done, and like continuing to like push projects forward, hatch new animals with different looks. Like that's what's so cool about us. That's one of the things that excites me the most about it.
I'm here for the insane deals, where there ain't no insane deals here tonight, guys.
Now, we don't have no insane deal.
You know, that's, you know, and it's funny he mentioned that, because I was just thinking about the Sunset project, and
Speaking of
and
Sunset,
I did have Sunset. I sold all of it. But the thing is, I will say it on camera, that one thing about the Sunset project is it has to have pastel. With Ultramel, the Ultramel Sunset I thought is awesome. The Hypo Sunset is awesome. The pastel Hypo Sunset is even better. But any regular Sunset with like not another, I think even like a pastel Sunset Pied is going to turn out better than the regular Sunset Pied. I love pastel with the Sunset.
what was that first one you said? Pastel Sunset. What?
The pastel Sunset Pied I think is going to be awesome.
Has anyone? You said one before that though. Not the pastel
Hypo Sunset and the Hypo Sunset.
So has anyone hatched the pastel Hypo Sunset?
Yes, the original animal was actually offered to me probably 4 or 5 years ago with a double het female adult breeder. They offered it to me for $12,500, and boy, am I kicking myself in the rear end for not getting it.
Yeah, I thought you was gonna say something like 25.
Oh no, it was a good deal. They went up, and they went up there in price for a while, and I mean, I did make some triple hets, Hypo Sunset Clown, and I'm not going to tell who it is, but I sold them and they got some clutches, and I'm praying for them that they hit it this year. I'm really hoping they hit it, because they put their dues in. They've spent a lot of money in the business, and they deserve it. So, I'm really hoping that those people that did purchase those animals from me hit that triple Hypo Sunset Clown.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I hope they hit it too.
And we did I don't know if anybody saw it, but there is a DG Hypo puzzle out there. It's waiting to come out of the egg.
A DG Hypo puzzle?
Yep.
Who hit it?
Miguel. He posted it on his Instagram.
I think I saw that. Story. I think I did see that. I saw a post about it, but I hadn't looked into it yet. I think I saw it because it was he posted it first and was like, "Won't this thing come out the egg or something like that?"
Yep. And I don't even know what time it is right now, but I mean, I don't know how long it's been here.
Yeah, it's almost 9:30. I know you got to hop off and take care of some stuff.
I don't even know if I got to them guys that I was going to talk to. They already ski-daddled out of here. They're gone.
Was that one of the guys that was walking behind?
Yeah, so I don't know if I got employees or not anymore. I'll figure it out. I mean, and anybody, and that's for anybody that's in here too. Like, I breed rodents on a big scale, and my employees, I think, are ducking out. They're not going to be working here anymore. I don't really know what's happening. They work next door, and they were working for me as a part-time job, but never, ever put all your eggs in one basket. Always try to figure it out where you got a backup plan, because if you don't, man, now you're sitting here like me. I think I got plan already, but we just got to figure that out. So, but I mean, if there's anything that anybody else in the chat wants to ask, if there's anything that you need to ask me or anything like that, go ahead and maybe we can wrap it up.
Yeah, I think that wraps up like everything that I was going to ask, because you covered a lot of it, and I need to hop off too.
Yep.
Just because I gotta get some stuff ready for this weekend.
Yep,
and
man.
get
I
on the road
was
and
hoping.
doing
I
it.
wish I would have. I was really hoping to go to that show. Like I kind of heard about it really late. Like I'm not on social media a lot or paying attention to a lot of things that are going on out here. I look at Morph Market. That's pretty much all I do. I watch that every day religiously. I'm constantly looking on there. But as far as like social media and people's stories, and like I didn't even know Bob was having the show until like a month ago.
Oh, for real? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna be
so
dope,
like
man.
I didn't know, and I didn't really pay attention, so I'm just like, but I'm thinking it's going to be a good show, and I'm hoping he has I don't know if he plans on doing it for more than once a year, but I'm really hoping to get down there for that show, because I think it's going to be like a ball python show, and there's going to be a lot of people with a lot of nice stuff there.
Yeah, for sure. Are you gonna make it to Charlotte or Tinley?
I'm going to be at Tinley. I'll be having a half a table there because I'm going to share my table with somebody else. As long as from what I understand is as long as you're there and you're vending your own table, you're not subleasing it. They don't allow subleasing anymore, but they will let you share it with someone, because I'm still going to be there vending. I just don't have all the snakes because my season is 4 to 6 months behind. So it is what it is. I mean, I'll have some. One of my most anticipated clutches is hatching out before that, and it's the only clutch I have in my incubator right now. I'll tell everybody what it is. It's a Hypo Pastel Stranger Clown to a Hypoazanthic Mojave female.
Okay.
So I'm like the true ghost stuff. I've with all the hypo stuff I had, all I needed was the axanthic part to inject it into all kinds of things. I did just hit it was a poor clutch. It was only 3 good eggs. It was from a pastel hypo chocolate clown to an axanthic clown. Well, she ended up being Blade. I got 2 regular clowns in there. It was 3 good eggs only, and there was 6 slugs. So I don't know what was wrong with it. The heat shouldn't have been the problem. I'm not really sure. So I'm not, like I said, it is what it is. I did get 1 chocolate clown. That's a Blade. That's double head hypoazanthic. So it's a girl, and I want a girl first, because if I want to try to make the super someday, I gotta have the female. So
Right.
I'm glad it was a female.
Nice.
I have VPI line, all VPI for anybody. So, but other than that, we can wrap it up if you want to wrap it up.
All right, boss. Well, yeah, man. Like I said, I got to get on the road pretty early in the morning. Otherwise, man, I'll hang out for a little bit more.
Yep.
But
no, that's
definitely
okay,
appreciate
because
you coming on the show.
Yep. I'm gonna actually drive to one of them guys' houses right now and see if they want a job. That's where I'm going right now. That's another thing too. Like owning your own business and doing your own thing. It's like a 24-hour thing. There's no.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I get emails in the middle of the night too, and I'll answer them in the middle of the night. If I put it on the vibrate, so if it vibrates and I get an email, I'm answering that email. You can ask anybody that's in the chat that ever inquires on an animal. They'll probably tell you it ain't but 5 hours or less, and he's already on it. Because I and that's how you gotta be. I mean, you're on hustle when you're working for yourself, and that's just the way it is.
100%.
It's not a guaranteed thing showing up to work and just getting paid. It's not that same way. So, but other than that, like I said, I'm hoping everybody has a great year. I'm hoping that we can see some more newer stuff out here. We've been kind of laxed on seeing some newer things. There's a lot of stuff to be done out here, and maybe people are just keeping it a secret because I mean, if you don't keep some things a secret, you're not going to be able to get ahead.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I hope I see you in Tinley. Definitely.
Yep, I'll be there. I'll see you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Will, you know, 3 a.m. See?
Well, bro, man, I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Yep.
Appreciate everybody staying live in the chat, man. Shout out to the replay game when you're watching this on the replay. Shout out to the audio only game, man, when you listen to it on your audio only podcast platform. But that's going to do it for tonight for Clutch Conversations. I'm Mike. The lovely lady behind the scenes is Takara. Thank y'all for coming out. Be blessed. Peace.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir.
I step up in the spot, they know the deal. Chillin' with that thrill. From the bottom to the top, I'm the king of the hill. Still eyes on me, feel the heat. It's a thrill feel. Got that shine in my hand, man, it's giving them chills. Still they wanna taste, they wanna see what's in my sleep. Believe, got that fire in my grip. Yeah, they need the thing. No counterfeit, no tricks, just the realest thing. Pure and uncut, got them down, dropping to your knees, freeze. It's that glass, baby, crystal clean, pristine. Make you wanna dive deep like you're living in a dream. Got them hooked on the vibe like an addicted fiend. This that glass, baby, you know what I mean. In the night it glows, whole place lit, can't quit. Every eyes on me, they can't handle this shit. Hit, feel the rush, feel the push, yeah, it's too legit bliss. Once you get a taste, ain't no way you'll quit this. Pure like the rain, cold like the snow. Yo, they crave for the touch, yeah, they wanna know. Dope, what's the secret mojo? Got that perfect glow, you know. Take a hit of this life, let your worries go slow, slow. That glass, baby, crystal clean, pristine. Make you wanna dive deep like you living in a dream. Got them hooked on the vibe like an addicted fiend. This that glass, baby, you know what I mean. They come from miles around just to get a glimpse. Whispering in the dark, making deals with pimps. Got that high grade shit, make the whole world limp. Glimpse, I'm the dealer of dreams, call me the main event set. Ain't no fakes, ain't no lies, it's the realest deal. Chill, got them looking for that glass, yeah, they love to feel real. I'm the plug, I'm the source, got that golden seal. This that glass, baby, now you know it's real. This that glass, baby, crystal clean, pristine. Make you wanna dive deep like you living in a dream. Got them hooked on the vibe like an addicted fiend. This that glass, baby, you know what I mean. In the end, they all come back, craving more and more. Once you get a taste, ain't no closing that door. I'm the king of the game, hear the lion roar. This that glass, baby, and it's what you're here for. In the end, they all come back, craving more and more. Once you get a taste, ain't no closing that door. I'm the king of the game, hear the lion roar.